I'm going to share with you the 90-day blueprint that will unlock massive growth in your business, even if you're burning out or just getting started. Follow this blueprint over the next 90 days and you'll transform your business. Starting with day 1 to 7. Do a time and energy audit. First off, you don't manage time, you manage energy. So here's the way I do it. I set a timer up that goes off every 15 minutes and I write in my journal exactly what I'm doing with my time. If I was scrolling on Instagram or TikTok, I write that in there. If I was talking to a friend and catching up, I write it in there. I'm very specific because there's what I thought I did with my time in my calendar versus what actually happened. Then what I do is I write a line down on the right side of this list and it creates 2 columns. On the left column is energy. For each one of those items, I ask myself, did this give me energy or did this drain my energy? Or was it neutral? And I highlight it with either green, red, if it sucks my energy, or yellow, if it's neutral. The right side, that is value. And I use a simple 1 out of 4 dollar sign rating to understand where I'm spending the valuable time. So if it's a $1 sign, it's not very valuable. That's an administrative task. If it's leading my team in creating a strategy document, that's a $4 sign, high value, and everything in between doing the work might be $3 to $2 signs. But that way I can visually see the amount of value that work's bringing into my business. The hack is to actually pull out all the green stuff that I want to do with the $4 signs and make sure I only do those kind of things that generate a lot of value for my business that I enjoy doing. All the low value stuff that's $1 sign or that's highlighted in red that suck my energy, those are the things that have to get off my plate as soon as possible. Now that you know what to prioritize, this is how you put it into practice. Day 8 to 14 is all about creating your perfect week. In my 20s and 30s, I was a reactive person. I went into work, I didn't really know what I was going to work on, and I just looked at things and bottlenecks and issues and just inserted myself. And I'll tell you, it frustrated my freaking team. It wasn't in my calendar, it wasn't scheduled, and honestly, I didn't even know if this was the right thing I should be doing right now. Right time, right action is how you succeed, and I was just shooting from the hip. I learned a long time ago that our calendar express our priorities. If you show me your calendar, I'll show you what's really important. So don't tell me what's important, show me what you've put in your calendar. So to create a perfect week, you need to follow these steps. First off, you need to understand that your day isn't complete until it's planned on paper. It needs to be written down or the day is not completed. Then you got to follow a calendar blocking batching of processes. If you take all the things that make you the most money that light you up, then you want to put them in your calendar and you want to put them together. I'm always batching or blocking things out so that I focus on similar type tasks so I'm in that energy and I'm not being distracted. And then you want to look for opportunities to stay in flow. So for example, a couple months ago, I noticed in my calendar it said go to the gym and then shoot some videos. And there was this time to go back home to get ready. But I just asked myself, is there a way for me to shower at the building? And it turns out there's this secret shower that nobody talks about, nobody's asked about, and I asked the building manager, Dave, if he could show me, and I could use that to get ready, shower in the building so I could stay in flow without wasting 35 minutes driving home to get ready for the day because it was already there. Most people don't think that way. So I'm always organizing my life around energy. If in the afternoon my energy drops, that's when I'm scheduling meetings. If my morning is where my energy is high for creative, that's where I'm putting my big project tasks, my big deep work. I don't want to be disrupted and I don't want to break it up by taking some kind of 15-minute interview call at 9 a.m. and it breaks up my whole morning. The big idea is to put the important items first. Fill your calendar with the things that are going to move your life forward, and then you can add everything else afterwards. Once you design your perfect week, then you want to iterate constantly. If going to the gym at 8 a.m. feels better than going at noon, then swap it around. If you want to have your team meetings all on Monday versus sporadically throughout the week, then do that. The big idea is you manage your calendar. You manage how you structure your time so that you can show up and give the most to the world, to your team, to the people, to your customers, and you don't let people push your calendar around. But you won't fix your business unless you can turn your time into profit. Which brings us to day 15 to 21. Raise your prices. The big idea is this: if you want to turn around your business, you have to iterate constantly on what works for you and stop having other people push you around when it comes to your calendar. So people read my book and then say, well, Dan, that's great, but how do I afford to hire other people to buy back my time? The truth is, if you can't right now, it's probably because you're not charging enough. If you can't afford to invest in marketing to generate more leads, in sales to make more revenue, it's because your business model is broken. A long time ago, one of my mentors told me, profit solve all problems. So this is how we fix the pricing problem. First off, raise your prices. If you're not changing your pricing every 6 months, some aspect of it, increasing it, adding packages, changing your plans, adding a way to upsell, then you're really missing a huge opportunity to get leverage in your business. Now, when I share this with people, they say, well, Dan, won't I lose customers? No, you won't. Most people could increase their prices by 30-40% before any one customer decides to quit. And then the truth is that clients that pay more are actually easier to work with. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but when you solve rich people problems, they're actually better customers. They appreciate what you want, and then you get paid enough to have the money to actually grow the business. This to me is the big idea when it comes to pricing. Ask yourself this question: what would you need to charge to pay somebody else to do the work and still make a profit? That's actually what you should be charging for people. And even if you think, well, I'm not worth it yet, let me ask you this question. If you took everything you know and put it into a big pile, and you now no longer knew that information, you didn't have access to those resources, you didn't have those relationships, it was now outside of you, what would you pay to have that information, relationships back into your life? That's actually what you're worth. And it's a lot more than what you're charging. But if you're serious about getting unstuck, you need more opportunities. Which brings us to day 22 to 30, where you need to start chatting. This one blows my mind. I literally have friends that have tens of thousands of followers on Instagram, and instead of talking to them, they say, well, I'm just waiting for them to put their hand up or to reach out to me, and they consider it like nurturing instead of just reaching out. These are people that follow you, and it's not just Instagram. I'm talking Twitter, I'm talking TikTok. Any platform that has followers that you can message is an opportunity for you to just talk to them, to chat with them, to find opportunities to help them to sell more of what you've got. I believe everyone is one conversation away from achieving their dreams. You have opportunities sitting in your inbox that could transform your life, turn your whole business around, but you're not even talking to them. There's this old adage that says something like, the more hands you shake, the more money you make, even on the internet in a virtual world. Here's the way I think about it. There's only 2 ways to make money. You either raise your prices, which you should, or you sell more to the people that are in your audience. The way you do that is to open on social, have more chats. Every one of your followers, I want you to sit down and message them. If you do this to 500, 600 people will respond. Now, create a genuine conversation with them. Look at their profile, understand their situation, ask questions about their life. Don't forget, people on chat are real people, real lives, real problems. And if you're great at what you do, you can help them. You can even consider inviting them to do something in the real world. Maybe you host an event, a dinner. I do founders hikes every Tuesday, and it's my place to bring anybody local to connect. I'm always looking to shake hands in person and see if there's ways I can help them. When I do an open, it's very simple. I always thank them for the action they did. If it's a follow, a mention, they tweeted at me, whatever it is, I always thank them for it. And then I ask them, is it this or that? Are you here for the content? Are you looking to grow your business? Are you here for the videos? Or are you looking for help with your agency? Always end with the second one being the thing you can help them with, and that'll create opportunity for you to engage. But now that you're building your revenue engine, your biggest bottleneck is still your time, which brings us to your priority on day 31 to 45. Hire an executive assistant. You know what's interesting is that even really high level people on my team delay this decision. I know Sam, who helps me with my videos, my creative director and my partner, he delayed hiring an executive assistant because he didn't feel worthy. He didn't feel like it was worth his time to spend having somebody else to help him because he's a young person that had a lot of time and he could do a lot. The problem is that he's not effective when he doesn't have somebody support him. And it's not just about that. It's also the accountability. Having somebody else you're accountable to just makes you that much more productive. Here's a funny thing to consider. If you don't have an assistant, you actually do. It's you. And the crazy part is you're overpaid and you probably suck at your job. So how do you bring somebody into your world to support you as an executive assistant and get the most out of that relationship? The first thing is you got to delegate 100% of your calendar in your inbox. That means every message that comes into your world is filtered through them before they come to you. Why? Your inbox is nothing more than a public to-do list on your time from strangers that you don't even know. Having somebody else process that actually creates their to-do list to keep them busy, to block people from your time so you could focus on the right things. Your calendar sets your priority, so having them own those items that come in and put them in your calendar and you just follow that process will make you so productive. The other part, as I mentioned, having somebody else that asks you to do things on a daily basis keeps you very accountable. So having having an executive assistant in your inbox and calendar is the best productivity hack. Most people think being busy means being productive. It's not true. You can be very busy and be poor. If you focus on the few things that drive revenue, marketing, sales, delivering for customers, prospecting, partnerships, that's going to increase your business, not being busy in the mundane. If you're still struggling on what you could give your executive assistant, I want to give you my internal SOP, my standard operating procedure for my executive assistant. So just find me on Instagram and send me the message YouTube EA, and I will send you a direct link to my Google Doc. It's got my North Star principles. It's got my whole meeting agenda. It's got canned templates. It's got preference files. It is the master document to have an EA come in, use my standard processes to train them and really get them to be effective day one. But now that you have your time back, you have to use it to fuel your marketing, which brings us to day 46 to 60, create content daily. What's kind of funny is I used to brag about how little time I put into my marketing content. I used to spend 2 days once a quarter to produce a weekly YouTube video, and I went and did this for 8 years straight, and I never missed a week, but I barely grew. And then last year, about 18 months ago, I decided to go pro, and I went to daily content creation, and I grew to 3 million subscribers across platforms in 18 months. The truth is, in today's world, it's not who you know, it's who knows you, and you have opportunity to get access to the same people I do for the same piece of content. Here's how to create content. It's really simple. Ask yourself, what do you want to be known for? Every piece of content you put out there should reinforce the thing you want to be known for. If you want to be an expert and people to pay you for why, let them know that you know about that. If you want to sell a certain product, tell people how the product works. Too often people create social media content that's just information their family would want to know, but it actually doesn't drive revenue for your business. What's also new and only true over the last few years is that you have the same opportunity as I do, regardless of the amount of followers you have, to go viral and get in front of millions of people with your content. The algorithm cares more about the quality of the content than the number of followers you have. So the key is to post a reel every day, a reel on your page showcasing what you want to be known for, and actually looking at other people that are creating similar content that has virality, that have a lot of views disproportionate to their other videos, and ask yourself, do you have a unique perspective that's similar to that creator that you could create on your page? This small lift, this small daily process can add hundreds of thousands of new followers every year, which are leads for your business. The more followers you get, the more chats you have, the more opportunities you have to get customers, the more your business will grow, and you can turn around your business very fast. But random content won't transform your business. You need to follow what works. Which brings us to your focus for day 61 to 75, model then modify. When I was 28, I decided to uplift my whole life and move from the East Coast of Canada down to San Francisco to learn what the best of the best in the world of technology knew about building billion-dollar companies. And that's where I discovered these 20-some-year-olds raising hundreds of millions of dollars, building these billion-dollar businesses. And what I discovered is there was a blueprint, a process. There's a reason why they raise so much money, how they build their companies, how they build the product, the technology. And that's when I realized to be successful, the fastest way is to model other people. You know, Tony Robbins says this all the time, but success leaves clues. Your job is to follow them. Now, this applies to content, but it also applies to product, what you're selling, sales, how you sell, and to people, what sequence you should hire people. The best way to figure this out is to do a thing called funnel hacking. What I encourage you to do is actually sign up or reach out to your competitors to understand how are they currently selling, especially if they're much bigger than you. If there's a $100 million business in your category, you should know everything about their business, how they run their ads, how they sell, the offer they make people, the pricing structure. Go be a secret shopper to go figure out the whole thing. Now, I'm not saying copy word for word what they do, but be inspired by it, tweak it, make it your own so that you can take what they're doing that works and copy it for yourself. The other way is to hire a coach and use their blueprint. Anybody that's had success that is a coach is showing you a blueprint that's going to compress decades into days so that you can move incredibly fast. The biggest mistake most people do is they modify what they're taught. And that's why I say model 100%. Copy paste what your coach gives you to get the results they got. Only once you've gotten their similar results should you even consider doing something different from what they taught you. But you'll never transform your business unless you make all these new steps simple and repeatable. Which brings us to your last days, 76 to 90. Build your system. systems. My $100 million business runs on systems I built when I was small, so you have to start now. So systems is actually an acronym, which stands for save yourself time, energy, and money. The reason they save you time, energy, and money is because somebody else can follow a process to get the result for you without you having to be involved. So if you need to scale something up to get some time back, writing a checklist, a system for somebody else to follow so that they always deliver the thing you sold the way you expected them to is high leverage. So there's 4 key areas I think about when I'm talking about systems. The first one is playbook. The playbook is all of the steps, all the processes brought together for doing something within your business. You might have a playbook for marketing, and in there you've documented your philosophy on marketing. You talked about your ideal customer profile. You've talked about the different marketing channels that you use to get attention for your offer, but it's in one document. The second part are checklists. So checklists are essentially the steps somebody should follow to get the exact same result that you've gotten to do marketing. If you're doing email marketing, what's the checklist and steps that people should follow to do the email marketing to get the exact same results that you've been getting, sending those messages and getting replies to do business with you? The third area are stencils, and this is kind of like templates, but if I think about it, if I have cold calling in my playbook, I'm gonna have a stencil or a script on how to do those calls. That way, somebody else that's not as good at selling as me follows the script and should get 80% of the result because I created a stencil. It allows you to multiply and copy your effort quickly. The fourth area is sensors, and sensors are essentially reports that I might ask for different departments, marketing reports, sales reports, and they're essentially ways I can monitor the quality of the work being done. If I don't have a report on the efficiency of my ad spend, then I might spend a bunch of money on things that aren't generating quality leads. If I'm not getting a report on how happy my customers are, I might sell a bunch of things to people that aren't happy, and then I'm gonna get a bunch of returns. Here's the big idea. If you're doing something more than twice a week and it's not documented, you're doing it completely wrong. That's why systems are the last step in the 90 days, is because once you fix the different areas of your business, you wanna lock in those learnings to not repeat the same mistakes and create the process so that you can keep building from that foundation. But here's the deal. If you want to transform your business in 90 days, you're going to have to lock in. You're going to have to focus. And that stands for follow one course until successful. If you do that, if you dig in and you give all of yourself, I have no doubt you'll transform your business. Now, if you want to learn how I built my business that runs itself, click here and I'll see you on the other side.